Oh, hello. How are you all doing tonight out there? Welcome back. So this week, we're not really doing a beer flow. We kind of just got a little roundabout beer discussion. I think Joe is laughing, so that's why you put my time out. But yeah, we're going to talk beer tonight, and if you have any questions, fire them across. Joe's working the board, of course.
No,
Joe, you there? You back? You cracking
I'm all
up?
right.
What's going
no,
on?
I'm all right. All right. That might have been the greatest introduction ever.
So we're not going to do a beer flow. That's going to be in a couple weeks, and then we're going to have, what do we say, Sierra Nevada?
Sierra Nevada.
Yeah, Sierra Nevada, yep.
We'll do some Sierra Nevada information. But I am your host or steward of the show, Rod J. And, of course, I have with me Average Joe, soon to be a channel having Average Joe.
Yeah.
And, of course, I have Eric Elias fan, but also Eric's Beer Reviews. Tell me about your new channel, Eric.
Hey, guys. What's up, guys? Thanks for stopping by Rod J. BeerVentures channel. I am Eric. I have Eric Lions Fan, which is a sports channel, which I talk about Detroit Lions and Detroit Tiger stuff, and maybe a little bit of college basketball, maybe Pistons and Red Wings. Don't really kind of know about doing that just yet. And I also have another channel called Eric's Beer Reviews, where we talk about IPAs, stouts, American adjunct lagers, amber ales, porters. Pretty much any type of beer is going to be on that channel. So check out Eric Lions Fan, which is a sports channel, and Eric's Beer Reviews, which is the beer channel.
There you go. Any preview, Joe, you want to give about your upcoming, or you want to keep it under wraps still?
No, it's going to be terrible. That's all I know.
Fear the beard. Fear
the roux, as Lance would say.
So I'm actually going to start here with a Ewenthal Fest Hellas. Kind of a last of an Oktoberfest type beer. Nice little lager. But I've been drinking already tonight. So actually went out to dinner, and what did I have? Let me check my trusty receipt here. I had a Listerman Fiona. So anybody in the Cincinnati area knows Listerman Brewing. The Fiona is their New England style IPA. It was solid. It was decent. But then, little Jackie O's Dark Apparition. Anybody's had that knows how smooth that baby can be.
Fantastic beer.
Fantastic. And then knocked it off in the end with some New Belgian Lips of Faith Blackberry Barley Wine. Ooh. Yeah, 2 10% beers to close it down when I was out to dinner. So
hopefully the wifey was driving home.
4 Avery White Whistles, so no. But I know my limit. So it was paced over like 2 hours eating pizza. We had a dinner. We have a place called Pies and Pints.
Mm-hmm.
Familiar with that? So you got nice craft beers and food. So it was all nothing done in haste, nothing done rushing through, But yeah, we'll get to the PSA later on, but don't drink and drive. You got to know your limits. You got to know your boundaries.
Yes.
Good stuff. But I did make a beer run earlier today. And I know Joe loves my beer runs. So I told Eric earlier, I picked up a 4-pack of Skate Karate. 4-pack. And it was $6.99. That's not bad for a 4-pack of Scotty Karate.
Maybe not.
I also picked up a bomber of Golden Carolas Noel, which is a great Belgian beer. That was $3.99. And then I picked up Brouwerij Van Eck Hamel beer and one of the ones from Stillwater, Silly Artisanal Scotch. Both of those are $5.99. But it was a good little day. Plus, I had my root canal a couple weeks ago. I went to the dentist today, and they said, you know what? We don't really need to put a crown on it because you have so much natural tooth still left.
Nice.
So we can just probably put film in and we'll monitor it. So that's $500 back in the pocket.
Yeah, that's right. That means all the CBS.
That means I can go to Stockade now.
Stockade Friday night.
So
I'm looking for some
beers in celebration.
Comes out on the 1st. That's the beer that's eluded me from Founders.
Which one?
The CBS.
Oh, I don't think it's out really yet, right? No, we've gotten it here.
It's out on December 1st.
December 1st, okay.
And they haven't released it in bottled/packaged form since 2011. So the last time they released it, I think, like in their vast distribution area was 2014. At least that's when I had it multiple times when it was in my area on draft at a bunch of places. But it's the first time they've put it back in bottle since I think 2011. So.
But they have a lot of people that like wait out like the whole freaking day or night or however long too. So
yeah,
and like we were talking last night that people basically have people they bring with them to buy for them as well, mules as they're called. So
all I'm gonna do, Rod, is go in and ask for it, and if they don't have it, they don't have it, and I'll just continue on. Life goes on.
I plan on killing at least 3 people to purchase 2 bottles.
See Joe in line. Come on, man. You know he's with the other guy.
Exactly.
This is such bull right now.
Interesting information, though. Rod and Eric and some of the viewers out there might even be the Canadian guys, but a couple Canadian friends of mine had a little bit of information that CBS is actually being released into Ontario, the Ontario province of Canada, at all the LCBO locations. And weird that Founders, again, in the States, they're releasing it in 750 milliliter bottles. So for those who don't want to do the conversion rate, that's 25.4 ounce bottles. And in Canada, in Ontario, they're releasing them in 355 milliliters, which is 12 ounce bottles. And the price on them is going to be $8.50 a bottle, where in the States, the 750s are going to be retailed, suggested retail price, which means no retail outlet's going to actually sell them at the cost. They're going to, bump them up. $24.99. So simple little bit of math conversion here from the most Polish guy you'll know. It's going to be completely incorrect. So don't take me for what I'm saying, but $8.50 for a 12 ounce bottle. If we're getting 25.4 ounce bottles, if you double that, that means the Canadians are getting the equivalent for about $19 Canadian for what we're going to pay at least $25 for. And when you do the conversion rate for Canadian, $19 is about $16 or so, $15.50, $16. So the Canadians are getting not only in smaller bottles, which should be able to get the beer into more people's hands, but they're also paying a significantly less price when you factor the conversion rate. So I don't know what the hell Founders is doing, but I thought they'd be better off putting it in the smaller bottles so more people get their hands on it in the States. If for every 750 they release, if you allowed somebody to get one 12 ounce bottle, or if they got 2 12 ounce bottles, that's fine. But it just makes no sense. It's almost like they're in the States making it more scarce for the hype factor, for the rarity factor, which it's kind of BS. I mean, even if you get tickets to the Founders event at the brewery, you're getting you get for $50, you get 2 of the 750. That's the limit at the brewery. So it's not like KBS where you can get a half a case or a case of it and whatnot. It's going to be quite limited. And I just find it really weird and quite awkward, talking to my Canadian friends, that they're going to have the chance to get it probably easier than we are in the States. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
But hey, good for them. Hope they get a lot of it.
At those prices, you know what I'm going to need? I'm going to need a few UCLA basketball players to go out and pick me up some.
Well, no, because what's going to...
So I'm looking for a ball or a couple associates of a ball to go out there and give you that 5-finger discount.
Here's the problem, though. You will never end up with the product because they'll get caught and confiscated. So right from the get-go, it's
turnover at the cashier would actually suck.
Yeah.
Shoot the 3! I'm in the parking lot. Shoot the 3! Idiots! I don't know the position on the 2 guys, why they would want to steal something. But for the ball, Leangelo, dude, your dad is hawking $500 pair of shoes.
Yeah.
There's got to be some money at home. Is he not cutting you in on the deal or what? You should not have to be out there stealing.
Maybe he thought he was above the law.
I don't know. Maybe it's a tension type thing. Maybe he's upset because his brother's now a Laker and stuff. I don't know, but
maybe they're just all a big bunch of idiots. The entire family. Maybe.
Could be idiots. Could be. I haven't heard LeVar come out and say anything about anything yet. If he's smart, he won't. But
no, and usually when things come out of his mouth, they're usually really dumb, and everyone is less smart just listening to him.
What was it? It was like, wasn't it like sunglasses or something like that and everything? It was something like stupid. It's like, oh, he's gonna say he put them in my son's hand.
Yeah,
he put them in their hands.
Yeah. They magically appeared out of thin air.
Oh man, one, don't steal. Two, definitely don't steal when you go overseas. I mean, did we not just see what happened in North Korea? You don't go to messing around. It's like Rick James, the whole Dave Chappelle. Don't go to somebody's house and put your feet up on their couch.
Yeah, he's lucky he came back with like both of his hands.
Yeah,
like I mean, it's. I don't know what they were thinking. Clearly, they weren't thinking, or if they were, very poor judgment went into it, obviously. But that was one of the dumbest things that I wouldn't have thought of that in a million years. Like you're saying, his son, the family itself is doing extremely well. I don't know. Just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Doesn't make sense at all to do that, but.
There's a lot of people out there do dumb things.
When they're kids, when they're 18 too, so
yeah, they're young. Yeah, I mean they're teenagers. Yeah. You give them the benefit of the doubt. He's never, I don't think, did anything like this. I don't think the other two have. So
yeah,
give him the benefit of time.
Suspended indefinitely, so a little bit of a sports turn there. But so, what are you guys drinking tonight? I know you mentioned Dark Horse and you mentioned Joe's double fisting trying to catch up on a short day.
Yeah, I'm double fisting. I got from Bellwoods Brewery. A lot of people probably don't know them watching your show, but they are out of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. They do some awesome stuff. I'm drinking their Goblin Sauce, double dry hopped, double IPA, brewed with lupulin powder, 8.5%. And then I'm drinking Treehouse's Haze. This is my last Treehouse beer, so figured I drink 2 double IPAs that are close in ABV and both, juicy and murky looking and, looking like the juice. And I'm having a great time. And when these are gone, I'm having a much better time. I'm turning into like a
which one do you prefer?
Honestly, right now, I don't know. They're even though they're similar in ABV and probably using very similar hops, the Bellwoods one is coming off more like juicy, like big, like peach, stone fruits, peach apricot. But it has this green harshness to it, even though it's not super fresh. It has just this like, I don't know, like this slight like green bitterness, almost like a stockiness, like a celery stalk or tomato stalk. You something like that. That's like a little bit off-putting. It's really good. Aside from that, the thing about Treehouse's beers, though, I mean, for anyone who hasn't had them, I've had the fortunate luck over the past like 3 weeks to try 9 different offerings from them, and the mouthfeel, the body.
That's the luck you have there. That is some luck.
It's very fortunate. The mouthfeel and the body on those beers are just, it's hard to explain if you've never had a Treehouse beer. If you've had New England style IPAs and good ones, you probably know what I'm talking about. It has that like creamy, almost luscious, like fruit smoothie, orange Julius thing going on, really creamy, lightly carbonated, so the mouth feels really soft. But like Treehouse, I found Treehouse and Other Half and Trillium for me just kind of, just that mouthfeel just kind of makes it. The beer cannot even be the greatest thing ever. It just might be like, oh, it's pretty damn good or whatever. It's solid. Right. But that mouthfeel puts it kind of over the top because it's so easy to drink. And this is 8.2%. And it's going down like, when I say water, I don't mean watering. I mean, it's just going down that easily. It's insane. But Treehouse does it right, and I enjoy it. But Bellwoods, man, anybody in or around the Toronto area or gets up to Ontario at any point, check them out. Probably they're definitely, I was gonna say probably, but they're definitely my favorite brewery out of Canada.
I always heard how smooth it is. So
it's hashtag smooth, baby. But yeah, I'm gonna be feeling good here in a while, so I'm happy, real happy.
And what about you, Eric? You would talk about your Dark Horse?
Yeah, I'm drinking a local beer, guys. This is from the Dark Horse Brewing Company. These guys are out of Marshall, Michigan, which from where I live at is about an hour and 15 minutes away. This is the Dark Horse 4 Elf Winter Warmer Spiced Ale. It comes in at 8.75% alcohol by volume. I'm getting a lot of roasted malts, a lot of spices, maybe like allspice, a little bit of cinnamon. It's a great winter beer, I gotta say. It's just as good as the Southern Tier 2 Xmas that I had.
Really like that
we had last week or 2 weeks ago, right around there.
It was last week, right? That we did the Southern.
Was it last week?
Or the week before?
Thursday.
Yeah, last week. It would go toe to toe with the Southern Tier beer that I had. I'm enjoying this quite well.
So let me ask you a question, Eric. Here, this is. It's kind of strange because I know you're not a big pumpkin guy when it comes to pumpkin beers. But in winter warmers like that, they use a lot of the same spices that they put in pumpkin beers, just usually minus the pumpkin. So you find yourself just enjoying, I guess, the spices they specifically use in those beers.
Yes.
And okay, so more so than the pumpkin. So it's because, like you said, allspice. That's like one of the prominent notes they'll throw in a lot of pumpkin beers because it has it's basically the same ingredients they throw in pumpkin pie, right? Like when you make allspice and nutmeg and cinnamon and the whole nine, right? So there's just something about pumpkin beers. Might be a singular spice or just maybe the pumpkin itself that kind of doesn't do it for you.
Well, I never had a pumpkin beer, so I can't say, Joe.
Oh, I thought you said you hated pumpkin beers.
Well, I haven't even had one at all. I've had pumpkin pie before, and I didn't really care for pumpkin pie, so I'm figuring if I have a pumpkin beer, it might not be in kind of like my wheelhouse.
I think I would highly recommend you try it because if you do like the 2 Xmas and you're liking 4 Elf, like I said, the spices are similar between winter warmers and pumpkin beers. The allspices, the nutmegs, the vanilla, the cinnamon. A lot of winter warmers use similar spices. It's just most pumpkin beers have some kind of pumpkin puree, fresh pumpkins. Most of them aren't fresh because they're coming out in July and August. Huge pumpkin season, and when it's like 100 degrees outside, it's fantastic. But it's one of those things where I think you should try them. Then, if you're into these beers, give some pumpkin beers a go. You probably can get some really good discounts. Maybe not Rod J discounts, but like
maybe not Rod J discounts.
I get some discounts. I get some discounts here. Yeah.
By the way,
just real quick plug for Rod. I'm wearing the Rod J BeerVentures shirt here.
Much appreciated. Much appreciated. I do.
Shout out to Eric. I'm wearing the Brewers Guild I Love Michigan shirt.
And I'm actually wearing a Beer Fest shirt because Beer Fest will be back here in February. 400 plus beers here in Cincinnati that will be untapping. So
and all of them
always a fun. That's always a fun time.
Rod's gonna drink every single one, all 400.
I try. When I get some volunteers that come to my group, it's kind of like, oh, they're all staffed. I guess I'll just walk around because I don't have to do anything. I got all stations covered.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's a great way to get into a beer fest without having to pay. And you don't have to wait in line because you're a volunteer. They give you the shirt, they give you the tag, the bracelet. You just walk right up wherever you want and just crack that tab.
Nice.
So, crack that tab.
It's a nice little thing to be a part of. So I was reading an article earlier today on LinkedIn that someone I met that runs another one of the breweries had it posted out there. I guess, no, actually she's a blogger, I believe. But anyway, they were talking about the stouts now kind of losing their way. Somebody wrote a piece thinking that what craft beer has done is actually created these stouts that make people forget what beer is supposed to taste like. So I was like, you know what? I just kind of enjoy the beers that are out there right now. And it's not like you're forgetting what stouts taste like, but it's called innovation and things move forward. So you're trying different things. So somebody was like, this guy who wrote this article was kind of disappointed because now you have cocoa nibs and all kinds of stuff. And you know what? Then don't drink it. You still have Bud. It's like if you want a Bud, drink a Bud. But there's other stuff out there as well. So I don't know what your guys' feeling is towards that. If craft beer is kind of taking away traditional flavors of beers or what that you may be seeing out there. I think, like we talked about this before, it's a golden era of beer. I'm just going to drink everything out there pretty much.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat you are, Rod. I'll try anything once. It doesn't matter if it's a stout, a porter, an IPA, some of these spiced ales, lagers like your Bud Miller Coors. You guys know I'm a big BMC fan, so that's kind of my go-to style beer. So, but really, you stick something in front of me, I'm gonna at least try it.
Right.
I see both sides of the. I'm on both sides of the fence. I get it from a traditional aspect because I do think, and I'm guilty of this, and I think we all might actually be. I'm not going to put words in your guys' mouth, but I will say this. I think we're all guilty, and I mean all craft beer drinkers, when you see more ingredients or something that just you perceive to be interesting or innovative or creative, you're going to, I guess you're going to feel like you should probably buy that or try that as opposed to something that's traditional. If in front of you is a regular 6% American style porter, and next to it is that same porter, but it has cocoa nibs, coffee, and aged bourbon barrels. What are you going to pick?
We'll go with cocoa nibs.
Yeah, people want the barrel aged. People want the cocoa nibs. People want the coffee. I get it.
But I may try the other one at some point too. It's just,
and that's but here's the thing: is that doesn't all that stuff doesn't make that beer better. It could actually make that beer worse. There's a lot of beers out there that have all these adjuncts and crazy things added to them that the beer ends up being worse than the base beer. A lot of times that happens.
Better or worse, I just say different.
Well, but I mean, there's a lot of beers out there that I've had the base beer and then I've had the barrel aged version or like the adjunct version, and it pales in comparison to the base version.
But that's to you. Other people.
No, well, that's what I'm saying.
So,
well, yeah, everybody's different. What I'm saying, that's what I can see. I can see people getting upset because you're passing up these old traditional styles that are amazing. I mean, when I say I'm guilty of them, I'm guilty of like Founder's Porter. I think Founder's Porter is one of the best porters on the market. Every time I have it, I always punch myself in the face. I do. There's bruises and everything. It's terrible. But I abuse myself because I drink it and I go, why don't I buy this beer more often? Yeah. And then I'm like, well, because when I show up to the bottle shop and I see something that sounds amazing, I grab that. I don't go back to that Founder's Porter. So I'm guilty of that. Yeah. But I've never understood the whole people being angry at choices. And craft beer specifically, the hobby, people get angry over the sheer amount of selection. It's like, just enjoy it. Would you rather have five different styles or 500 different styles? It's like, I've never seen someone go, oh, it's such a vast selection. This is terrible. I wish there were 3 things to pick from. But people feel like that. You see these articles like this come out where they're angry that the selection's so big. It's like, I remember when I used to go to my local bottle shop and there would be, every week there would be maybe 4 to 6 new beers. And I could pick up a mixed 6-pack of it, walk home and have everything. Now I get there and I'd have to buy a case of beer to have everything that came out. Am I complaining about it? Hell no. That's awesome that I can choose so many new beers to try. And people being angry about selection, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, the funny thing is on this piece, at one point, he made a reference to how Budweiser had that commercial a few years ago, making fun of all the other craft breweries out there. And he's like, yeah, maybe Budweiser had it right. It's like, hold on now. Shout out to Lush. Budweiser's been buying these breweries so they can actually get a dime off that profit. So while you're saying that they may have had it right, guess what? They actually realized these breweries may have had it right, and now they want a part of that dime.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know who the guy that did this research, but he should have researched a little bit more, in my opinion.
I would agree with that, Brad.
Yeah. To simplify it, it's like somebody who's, all right, you're going to go out and you're just going to get fast food because it's convenient that night. Yeah. If you go to an area and there's literally 6 different fast food options in your vicinity, are you going to be angry because there's so many? You'll be like, no, I could get this or I could get that. That's way better than just showing up. Man, McDonald's my only choice. Like, I'm just going to go to McDonald's, I guess.
I don't know. We've got a lot of food trucks. I've seen people confuse that food trucks.
Go to
yeah. There's 6 food trucks here, man. I don't know. Do I want taco? Do I want burrito? Do I want freaking pork over here? They got ribs at this one.
Yeah, and I've seen that too. Especially, I've seen that at beer fests.
It's an overload. It's like an overload for some people.
In the grand scheme of things, I understand it because sometimes when you're in certain moods or just in certain situations, maybe having the sheer amount of available options to you is kind of overwhelming. Right. But like, you shouldn't be angry that you have all these awesome options. Be thankful that you do, because there was a time where you didn't have all these options. It was, here's 1 or 2 things and that's it. And now that we have all these, it comes down to people are going to always find something to complain about. It doesn't matter what it is. And now you're seeing it craft beer. Oh, just be happy with a regular stout. Forget the bourbon barrels and the adjunct and this and that. It's like, no, don't forget all that stuff. You go drink your regular stout, but also don't be don't take a chance on a cocoa nib and coffee beer or a barrel aged stout or whatever. It's it's each their own. What you like, that's what it comes down to.
It's a big world. There's a lot of choices out there. People can enjoy what they want to enjoy. But give thanks. So next week's Thanksgiving. So you guys, I know Eric's heading out of town, but Thanksgiving type beers, any beers you have like to have and enjoy around Thanksgiving, around a meal, anything like that you'd like to go for?
It's usually Miller Lite where I'm at.
The food gets all the everything going forward, so I need a light beer to go with it.
Yeah, you need
don't need a beer taking up that room.
You need some water to wash everything down with.
But usually it's like a 2-hearted ale would be a good one.
Yeah.
Someone or a Sam Adams Winter Lager.
Yeah, those are out now. Yeah.
So it's not anything real big on us. It's either Miller Lite, Sam Adams, or Two Hearted.
That's how we roll.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds fine to me. I don't really go too crazy on Thanksgiving with like beer pairings or whatever, but I kind of feel like for me, not that I don't really care about seasons and drinking beer. Like a lot of people are like, I would never drink a stout in the middle of summer. I'm like, all right, that's cool. I'll drink any style, any time of year. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
But for me, as a general rule of thumb, once Thanksgiving ends, I'm kind of like, those pumpkin beers, they're cool until next year. Like, I'm good to go. Like, the next day on Black Friday, I'm going to start.
I'm going to past then, you start saying, I don't really need pumpkin anymore. Although,
speaking of that,
is always good. Yeah.
Speaking of that, when you said, Joe, about Black Friday, are there any Black Friday deals on beer?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they have some of them, and people will line up for them there too. They'll have some special beer releases on Black Friday at some of the breweries.
And by deals, I think you mean you pay AB InBev like $12 for an infected bottle of Bourbon County Stout. I feel like those are the kind of deals that
the 2015 version, baby.
Yeah, but some of the breweries will have their special releases on Black Friday.
Well, I bring that up because for me, being just only 2 years into the craft beer, doing the stuff on YouTube, I didn't realize that there was, on Black Friday, you could go into the beer store and maybe get some discounts on some beer you wouldn't normally get discounts on.
Yeah. Yeah, no, up until, I'd say a couple of years ago, it was pretty much Black Friday in the beer world was basically the release of Bourbon County across the country, wherever. Goose Island distributed, which is basically everywhere now because they're owned by AB InBev. But yeah, a lot of breweries over the last couple of years have become hip to the fact that Black Friday can be a good selling point, and kind of like Rod was saying, they will have special releases or special deals and whatnot. I mean, I got suckered in last year to the Southern Tier Brewing and their Manhattan beer that came out that was brewery only until it wasn't. I hate you
thought it was only, and then you're like, "Holy, I wasted all that time."
But it was not. It was still a cool time. I went there and had a couple of drinks and stuff, and it was a good time. But like more breweries are doing that now. Everyone's local breweries basically doing it now, so it's cool. Yeah. It's like you can now support local with Black Friday, where you don't have to go purchase a Bourbon County, for instance. You can go purchase something local and have a good day and not have to worry about too much. So.
I think the local brewery here, where I talk about it, I'm sure you guys might be aware of the Bad Brewing, which is local to me.
Mm-hmm.
They have I think you can buy like their bourbon barrel aged stuff for it's usually like $15.99. I think you can get it for like $10.99 for a 22-ounce bottle.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that's cool.
But they don't distribute though. They just bottle it, and if people want to purchase it, they'll purchase it right there.
Yep.
Yeah, I would definitely tell people to check out their local areas for the deals that'll be happening next Friday. Because a lot of breweries, like I said, either some will have some deals on good prices on some of their beers, or some will have just special releases they're bringing out on Black Friday too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Speaking of those people, let's do a quick read of the comments here so we don't get too far behind. Craig from Kent Beer Reviews. That you could put this on your next outtake video, Craig. But he says, "Hello, gentlemen."
Craig, what's happening?
I did throw I told him that I'd give him the link, but he said he is currently slightly under the weather. I think his whole family has something going on, so hope he feels better.
Laying low in the UK.
Yep. Tim's Brew says the only thing that gets me is price. Cheers, and that is a good,
Yeah.
That's a good thing to. I mean, everyone obviously has to take price into consideration because that's how this world works.
Right.
And if we were all millionaires and rich, like we wouldn't really care too much. But I don't usually get too caught up in the price unless it's something significant and it's something that stands out. Like I don't mind paying more for quality beer, especially from something that local that is good. But it's tough. It's tougher and tougher nowadays to pay some of these prices these breweries are charging. It is getting tough.
So my 3-prong approach, right? Local, independent, and everything else. But sometimes local is more expensive, so you got to slide independent up. And you might go into macros on that after that if it depends on what the situation is.
And quality. I mean, here's the simple fact: I will always support when all things are even, I will always support local because there's no reason not to. But your local brewery doesn't always make better beer than the stuff that's coming in from out of state or something that's even macro. It's one of those things where one size doesn't fit all, basically, is what it comes down to. And there's a lot of people that blindly support local just because it's my local brewery. Yeah, but they make shit beer, but it's local. It's like if they make a good product, by all means support that. But if they're putting out junk, I don't care if they're your neighbor or whatever, like either be honest with them or don't support them. Don't blindly support them because they are local. It's, everyone wants to support local because it's good for the community. But if they're putting out garbage products, it's eventually going to catch up to them. And then you're just going to look like an idiot supporting something that isn't good anyway. So, but all things are even, you always support local because that's what this world should be about. It's certainly our country anyway.
Yeah.
We also have on the 10th, Chris, who says, "Sup, guys?" He said he's chilling at his brother's house, drinking the champagne of beers.
High life action. Little high life.
No, High Life is pretty solid. For macro, it's probably one of my favorites.
That guy died like a couple years ago or a year ago or something too. The black guy used to do the commercials. He ended up dying.
Probably drank too much Himmler High Life.
High life. Yet Carrot Top is still alive.
Miller beer.
Carrot Top will probably live to about 120. It's
probably so. Yeah. him and Keith Richards.
Yeah, well, Keith Richards, I don't even think he's a human, so that doesn't count.
Right last when Death shows up, like, oh, you're going to try it again?
He's a vampire, right? Keith Richards is totally a vampire.
Yeah.
Am I incorrect on that? I think so.
He should have been the vampire Lestat.
Yeah. All the new British musicians, he basically drinks their blood to stay alive. That's Keith Richards in a nutshell. On the 10th, Chris continues with Black Friday is cool, but he prefers Cyber Monday. I mean, they both have great deals.
Yeah.
I mean,
Cyber Monday the last couple of years has picked up a lot of steam.
But a lot of
I haven't really found any deals on Cyber Monday though.
You know what's? I mean, they usually haven't been good as Black Friday, and now Black Friday, there's so many deals where you don't even have to. You can just order it online and pick it up whenever.
Black Friday's now become like late Thursday or whatever, so it's not even like doing it Friday anymore.
Yeah, Black Friday starts sometime in August. It's like pumpkin beers.
So what do you guys think about it? Should stores be open for that, in your opinion? Or should they be closed, like people can spend time with their families?
For over Thanksgiving?
Yeah, like the late Thursday shopping on Friday.
I wholeheartedly agree that retailers should be closed during Thanksgiving.
And have their
specifically Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because that is a national holiday that isn't, I don't think, it's basically not a religious holiday or anything. It's someone that everybody basically celebrates it in America, and it's one of those things where it's like you shouldn't be open at 6 p.m. I mean, people should be eating dinner.
Even till noon, Joe.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of, and a lot of them are opening like on Thursday morning and Thursday afternoon. I'm just like,
that's
you don't need products. We don't need, we don't need electronics and bedding and a new mattress on the day of Thanksgiving. Just settle down.
So some people turn on TV like, what is that? Is that the Lions playing? I'm going to work. Shout out to Eric.
Thanks, guys. Thanks. I just want to point out that was all on Rod. No, that was all on Rod, 100%. This is Rod.
Hey, you kind of stabbed me in the back and turned that the knife just a little bit.
The rolling though, so.
Eric, I will never make fun
of
the
people
Lions.
Will watch for sure.
Hey, they play the Minnesota Vikings at 1. Yeah. No, at noon. Excuse me, at noon.
Okay, they get the early game this year.
Yeah.
Like early games on Thanksgiving now.
What's that?
Cowboys usually play one of the games. The Lions play the other. I think there's a night game too now.
Well, it's always Detroit plays, always Dallas plays, and now they introduce a night where they rotate each year, different teams.
What I want to see is the Thanksgiving showdown between Dallas and Detroit.
Nobody wants to ever see that.
Come on!
No, everyone hates Dallas, I'm pretty sure, even Dallas fans.
Everyone hates Detroit and everyone hates Dallas.
Well, no one hates Detroit. I mean, if anything,
I think a lot of people will pull for Detroit because they've been down and out so long. Being
in the Western New York area and being a Bills fan is my number 2 team after the Seahawks. I feel for Detroit fans. I feel for Bills fans. It's like I just want you to have some kind of success, make the playoffs, win a game or two. I mean, I know from being a Buffalo Sabres fan of hockey, it is tough to follow a team that is continually and annually just garbage and not good. So I mean, every fan should at some point experience some kind of success from putting in the hard work of watching the games and buying the apparel and following it. You know, it's when your team's terrible, like if you have never followed a team that's just perennially bad, like you don't understand it. You really don't. Like I just want like my team to be over 500. It's just once, like in the last 5 years, doesn't work like that. So I'd love to see like the Lions make the playoffs this year. That would be fantastic.
Is Scott Norwood even allowed back in Buffalo yet?
I think. Well, here's the thing. I think. I guess intelligent NFL fans would realize that like a 48-yard field goal is not like a give me. Even nowadays,
right. No, but they like everything. They hung it all on him.
I think originally they did, and then they did the 30 for 30 on the Bills teams a couple years ago, like 3 or 4 years ago. And I think most Bills fans forgave him because they realized it wasn't really his fault. The Bills could have done a lot better offensively.
I think if you go back and you look at all the Super Bowls that have been played, probably the 2 biggest players that have been hung with the kind of a failure of a team win have been Scott Norwood, and I still say back in the 70s, like Jackie Smith of the Cowboys, who was an all-pro tight end going into that game before he came to the Cowboys, perennial player, dropped that touchdown pass in the end zone against the Steelers, never got a chance to live it back or anything. He was just gone afterwards.
Yep, I agree.
No.
Hey, it's tough being the GOAT in some respects, and you know. People always, I mean, yeah, not the greatest of all time, but the other GOAT.
Yeah,
you're not the
L.O.A.T.
Not LL Cool J. All right, you're not LL Cool J. The opposite of LL Cool J. But I think when, like I said, educated sports fans look at a lot of those things, it's like people obviously just in everyday life make mistakes, and you're not always going to kick that 48-yard field goal. You're not always going to catch the ball. I mean, they talk about clutch players, but it's one of those things where, like, if Scott Norwood hits that field goal, he is forever known as like the greatest Bill ever. Now, I'm saying that tongue in cheek, but like he basically ends up winning the Super Bowl for the Bills more or less. And instead, he had
kind of immortalized or something.
He's immortalized. He is as one of the greatest Bills players, even though he's a kicker and wasn't on the team for a really long time. But it's like. One you shouldn't let one play like that define you either way. It's like one of those things too where like people have arguments with like greatest QBs of all time, and they'll throw Trent Dilfer in there because he won a Super Bowl. It's like one-legged man probably could have won the Super Bowl with that Ravens defense back when Trent Dilfer won the Super Bowl as the quarterback. Like he did his best not to lose games for the Ravens is what he did. Is he better than Dan Marino because he won that Super Bowl? No, he's not.
I think they had the pregame speech and like Ray took Trent to the side and he just told him, "You turn the ball over, I'll kill you."
Yeah,
he said, I won't turn it over. I won't turn it over.
And then he ended up killing someone anyway and got away with it. So no big deal. Just wasn't Trent Dilfer.
Trent's like, probably laughing. He's like, "No, seriously, I will kill you if you turn the ball over. My defense will handle everything."
Yeah. And I mean, to Trent Dilfer's credit, he did not lose it for him. So good on him.
He did not.
The last couple comments we have here is Craig says a limited release of Bourbon County Stout on the 24th in London is 20 pounds a bottle, which is probably about $25 American, give or take. I know in
maybe 30 here.
Yeah, I think the conversion is like 24, 25 for 20 pounds or so.
I wouldn't be surprised.
There's a retail markup sale too, wherever you're looking. Like Eric's like,
that's true. And here, I know from being in the States, I know whether you're at Rod's location or in Eric's or myself, it usually goes for somewhere around like $11 to $14 a bottle.
Yeah, I think mine was $13.99 when I bought it.
Yeah.
The last one I bought was 10.
Yeah,
and that was for the 16.
Yeah, and then they switched to the 16. I think it was last year.
Yeah.
Last year was
2 years ago. 16.
2 years ago.
Yeah,
2 years ago. I know, again, to go back to the whole Canada thing with CBS, they have a Goose Island brew pub in Toronto now, and they're going to be releasing Bourbon County there, and I think it's like $25 Canadian for a bottle, so get about $20 American. Like that doesn't make sense because while Canada's a completely different country, they're still our good brothers to the north, and it's not like you're going over a big pond of water, or as Trump would say, ocean water, as is the Atlantic. I can see how you mark it up in England, in the UK in general, because yes, it has to ship, it has to travel. So paying $20 or 20 pounds a bottle, it's a bit steep. But again, you're in a completely different country, way far away from us, hundreds of miles. That's a little bit different than just having it in Toronto. So I don't get the whole $25 a bottle up in Toronto. That's insane.
Why don't we just
go ahead.
I was like, no, why don't we just annex Canada, change their name, just make them American North?
I would honestly, at this point, want to be called Canada South more than American North.
Yeah,
we can all get
there. You go.
We can all get our free health care. Apparently, we're all really nice to one another. It's just like that's what I would like to be.
I would ask Craig, since he's on the chat. I was wondering if they get CBS over there, or are they going to get CBS over there? I don't know. He can get all day IPA, and he seems to get some other.
He gets some other ones. He had he actually has some of the West Six, which is one of my regional breweries out of Lexington, Kentucky. He had some of theirs the other a couple weeks ago, but he gets some of those too, and gets some of the Founders and everything. So
yeah, they get Backwoods Bastard, they get KBS. They have all day IPA just on their shelf, their supermarket shelf. So they're doing pretty good. They're doing really good for themselves.
Plus, he can get Mosaic Promise. That's a Founders beer.
That's a good.
That's a thing. That's the thing. There's a lot of American breweries that have a great footprint in Europe and the UK, and even some parts of Asia. It's like you can go to the UK and find like way better distribution of Founders than you can in certain areas of the United States, which is just like it's awesome for them. And I told Craig this before. It's really cool. Some of the beers are getting over there, but it's still mind-boggling to me that like Founders will not send certain beers to certain areas, and it's just like I don't like that's weird. You should always start at home first and then branch out. If you don't have enough for your distribution areas or even a state here, then I don't know why you're in another country. But I mean, I get it. They're kind of trying to get their name out there, they're trying to get their products out there, but it's still kind of weird and baffling to me in some respects.
He said that they're not going to be distributing out there, which surprises me a little bit.
CBS specifically?
Yeah, CBS, yes.
I don't think that surprised me too much just because, like I said, again, at the brewery, you're limited to 2 bottles. So I feel it's going to be one of those beers that in the U.S. it's going to show up everywhere that Founders distributes, but in very rare quantities. It's not going to be like KBS where it's just going to be hanging out on shelves and people can pick it up. I feel like it's going to be some bottle shops are going to get 6 total 750s or maybe 12, and that'll be it. And it'll be first come, first serve. Maybe they'll do a ticketed kind of thing, or you got to wait in line. I feel it's gonna be somewhat of a shit show. Hopefully, I'm wrong because I would like everyone who wants CBS to obviously be able to purchase a bottle, but I have a feeling it's gonna be a little bit more rare than people expect it to be.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's the only beer from Founders that's eluded me because I've had the KBS before. So
yeah, CBS, and this is, and I said this last night when maybe another night. I don't know. I'm like drunken when I'm on all the hangouts now. But I did say that CBS is one of those beers, and again, Rod said it earlier when we're talking about stuff. But for me personally, I want to, it's beer is subjective, all that good stuff. We all have different palates, blah blah blah. Everyone says it. We know, all right. For me personally, CBS is one of those beers that if you have a chance to purchase it within reason. I'm not saying everyone's willing to spend $30 for a 750, but if you do have the means, it is one of those beers that is amazing. It is a top 5 beer of all time for me personally. I mean, I have drank whatever, it doesn't matter, but I drank probably like 3,000, 3,500 unique beers. Mm-hmm. It is top 5 for me. For me, it is that good of a beer. So I will probably go out of my way to secure a bottle if I can. If I have to wait in line for half an hour, I probably will. I just want that beer, especially for my new channel. It's gonna be terrible. I'll have to review it like everybody else that gets a bottle, right? But I want to try it again because I had it in 2014 multiple times. I tapped it. It was like everything that people say about KBS when it comes to hype and rarity and it being CBS for me lived up to the hype. Like one of the few beers that is like, holy crap, this is amazing. And I'm glad they're reviewing it or they're bringing it back and. Hopefully everyone out there that wants a bottle gets one because it's that damn good. It's just, I don't know. Lost for words. I'm done. Okay.
Are you done there? Are you good?
I'm done. I have finished. I have finished, Rod, multiple ways. I have finished.
You need a tissue?
But like I said, for me, if I find it, great. If not, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, I mean, you have to around beer and other stuff too, and
Yeah,
there's a lot of hype around it too. Like I said, I'd be interested to see if it does show up around here, but I'm not going to go all crazy to try to find it anywhere.
No, I mean, instead of killing 4 people, 2 is probably the max you want to.
Yeah.
No, but in all honesty, I think you bring out a good point there, Eric. I will probably go out of my way, like I said, to get it, but it is just beer, and I've been a big proponent of this way of thinking for years now. It's just like the sheer amount of great beers out there, the sheer amount of awesome breweries, whether locally or regionally or even nationally or even worldwide. There's so much good stuff. I mean, you can talk to Rod here, you can talk to Eric, myself. You can go into your local bottle shops and find hundreds of different beers. Some in my area, thousands of different beers. Hundreds of different breweries. It's just beer. If you miss out on it, there's always next time, and even if there's not next time, there's always the next awesome beer. It's a never-ending supply at this point in time.
Well, kind of, I'm going off of, kind of what you said. I think a good beer that you can get that's not, not scooped up all the time is Great Lakes Blackout Stout.
Yeah.
That you can find pretty much anywhere. I mean,
or if it's Gerald.
I mean, it's a great stout if you want a stout.
Oh, if you want an imperial stout, blackout stout's fan, and that's the thing too. It's that no frills type of stout. We're talking about that, cocoa nibs and barrel aged and coffee and all that stuff. Blackout stout is just an imperial stout. That's all it is. It's an imperial stout, but it's a damn good one. Yeah. And again, you don't. That's the thing. You don't have to travel far to really find awesome beer. It's in your backyard, and that goes for like 98% of the population at this point. Certainly, people who are watching this video, if you have the internet and you're watching this, you probably have great beer selection in your area.
Oh, yeah.
Just how it is.
Yeah. Doesn't matter if you're in Montana, Arizona, or freaking West Virginia.
Huh? Exactly. It's if you're anywhere in the States, and I can only speak for the States again because I am in the U.S., but I mean, I could even say, Craig's in the chat talking. He just said, I'm not bothered. Whatever. I'm not bothered. Whatever. Yeah, I got you, Craig. But even over there, it's like, they have an amazing selection of beers. Like I talked about Founders all day, being in their supermarkets. Peter, the Clueless Drinker, a friend of ours, he was just talking about like, oh, here's Founders all day. It's on the shelves here. I'm like, that's awesome because that's a great session IPA, and it's just hanging out in your shelves in the supermarket in the UK. Like,
yeah, I'll grab it from time to time.
I mean, it's got the distribution now since AB and Bev owns them, so.
Whoa, not Founders. AB Bev does not own Founders.
Founders? Yeah, Founders is under their umbrella.
I didn't think it was AB InBev. I thought someone else, like some.
I'm pretty sure. Let me double check here.
I don't think it's AB InBev. I think it's some weird conglomerate that owns like 30% of them.
Let me see. Maybe you're right.
Uh-oh.
Not that it matters.
They might be one of the ones with the Spanish.
Yeah, I think it's one of the Spanish ones. But regardless, they're owned by a big conglomerate.
You're right. It is Spanish. It's not AB and Bev.
Grupo Modelo.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Rod. I didn't mean to. This was not supposed to be a debate. We'll just say it's AB and Bev. You're going to be right. We'll say it's AB and Bev.
Who's San Miguel?
Yeah, San Miguel was the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even so, they're owned by a big conglomerate. Who cares?
Yeah.
I mean,
but that opens up distribution, is what I'm saying. So
yeah, it helps them quite a bit. But then again, they get cool tap takeovers like Trillium, and you see Jake and Craig go over there and get the Trillium where no one outside of Boston can really get it. So that's great.
Yeah,
and I say that sincerely, not like as sarcastically. Like that's cool. But in general, like I said, you get great beer anywhere you are at this point, and it's an awesome time to be a craft beer drinker, which is why like the whole debate earlier about the adjunct beers and the barrel aged beers to like a regular porter or stout and people getting angry. It's like so much awesome beer. Just shut up and drink it. Like all of it. Just drink it all.
I mean, you do have some places that are still kind of deserts. I think of one of the guys I know in North Dakota. He has to drive 80 miles to get craft beer. Really,
and he must live somewhere in the like 80 miles.
Yeah, he's in North Dakota. But he has to drive 80 miles to get craft beer. Where he's at, it's just basically macro. He works for the railroad out there, but he'll get in his pickup truck and he goes on beer runs once a month or whatever. And he loads it up as best he can.
But even
like
say
if he goes out, he has to go back 80 miles to pick up more.
But you know what? 80 miles isn't. I mean, that's it's not that bad. That's like an hour 20-minute ride to get awesome beer.
But you're in North Dakota too. When winter hits,
well then you stock up right around October and get about $500-600 worth, and then you come back in like March. But what I'm saying is,
you got 10-foot drifts out there. You're like, I gotta go.
Yo, I'm in Buffalo. I know about 10-foot drifts. I know about 6 feet of snow in like 48 hours.
I'm not drinking that over here right now. I need some craft beer. God damn, I need some Brooklyn. I'm not drinking Coors right now.
he falls in the 2 percentile. I said 98%. He falls in the 2 percentile. We can't get stuff locally.
We be talking about John down in Alabama. It seems like he doesn't have a lot of great choices around. He has some, but not a good amount compared to other people.
No, but he still has a lot of awesome local. He talks about, I think, Good People Brewing, a couple others. He's always drinking local stuff too. So I mean, granted, we all don't have thousands of beers at our disposal, but you still probably have hundreds. And again, Tim brought up a good point. Tim's Brews about price. A lot of people that I follow don't really care about price, but then there are some that do. Like that factors huge into their budget. So
yeah.
If you're not willing to pay that $12 a 6-pack and your limit is $9 a 6-pack, then you're going to shut yourself out of some beers. And I get it. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's still available. Like if you're willing to pay it, it's still available. It depending upon what you want to spend, right?
There are some outstanding beers still for $7.99 a 6-pack.
There's a lot of beers that, there are. There are some really good beers that are cheap, and there are some awesome beers, or some shitty beers that are super expensive. It's just how it is. Price, again, availability, hype, and price doesn't dictate how good a beer is.
Yes.
Yeah.
What dictates how good a beer is how much you like it. End of story. Not how much your friend like it. Like Eric can sit here and tell me, this beer is amazing, and I drink it and it's crap. Well, it's crap to me, and then vice versa. If I tell him this beer is amazing, he drinks it and it's shit. That's his opinion. That's just how this works. Just that's how life works in general. We all have different tastes in music and food and hobbies and movies and whatever. It's like so many people. Again, when it comes to like I'm drinking this Treehouse beer, and I just want to point it out again because I'm gonna brag about it. No, I'm pointing out because I've had the 9 Treehouse beers and they make some awesome beers. But I mean, I've had some beers that I can get here locally that are just as good as it or close to it for, I don't have to know somebody to get some beers. I don't have to pay out the nose. I don't have to go on a trip. They make awesome beer, but awesome enough for me to maybe spend an arm and a leg to get it? Probably not. It's the hype and the availability and the rarity doesn't make it beer. And so many people kind of a lot of people live by that, though. It's like, oh, man, I want something that I haven't had before, and I get that because I think we're all there. I mean, clearly you guys are. You review beers, and usually if you see something you haven't reviewed, you're going to pick it up to review it over something maybe you've had before because that's how it works. But you're not also going to make give an opinion of a beer based on how hard it is to get. Like, the rarity of the beer should never play a role in how good the beer is.
Yeah.
You shouldn't say, well, I had to trade for this through 3 different people, so therefore it automatically starts at a 9 out of 10, and then we go up from there. It's like, no, it starts at 0 out of 10, and then you drink the beer. Tell me how it tastes and how it thinks and what's your opinion.
Yeah, I know some people bring up availability, but it is what it is. I mean, not everybody has distribution to get outside their areas either.
No, and I've seen people like review beer that maybe were given to them in a beer trade or through a beer mail.
Yeah.
And they will dock the beer points because of the availability. I'm like, that's one, seriously, to say that this beer is a 9 out of 10, but since I can't get it regularly is now an 8 out of 10. It's just like the dumbest thing ever. Someone sent it to you in a beer mail. Going into it, you should know like the availability. You got it as somebody's local beer, and therefore you're not going to get it. So docking it a point because you can't get it is just review the beer on the merits. I'm always a stickler for the price point personally. Like I get why people will include price into a beer review and a final rating. I get that. Like I do get that because if you buy a beer and it's $15 up for a 500 milliliter bottle, yeah, I mean you just spent the equivalent of like a 6-pack and a half on one beer. I get that. But at the end of the day, you should always review a beer on what's inside that bottle. The merits of how well the beer is brewed, how much you like it. The other factors you can include, but to docket points on availability and stuff is just crazy to me because it's like so many beers are local nowadays. It's like if you have somebody nice enough to send you a beer, you shouldn't be taking off points because you can never get it again. The only reason you got it is because someone was nice and sent it to you. Like, it should play a factor in your end. But again, ratings are stupid too, right? In general, because you rate it for yourself.
Yeah, although reluctantly now I've started doing them again. So
I do like it though. I like your little breakdown, and you take. I like how you take into consideration everything.
Well, I think you got to have a basis. If you're going to give somebody a rating and you just give them a number, it's just a number. So I try to give them a basis of what that number actually means. So, you take the look at really, the beer itself, how it does overall is probably the heaviest weighting component, how you like that beer. So that should have the heaviest weighting. So if I have a 100-point scale, 40 points of it will be determined by how it does overall, on a scale from 0 to 40. And then all the other key factors you look at as you would do a beer, just like if you were doing a home brewing competition or you were a Cicerone after doing stuff, you're looking at the appearance, the aroma, you're looking at the flavor and how well it sits on the palate. So each of those are 15-point categories. You rate each of those out from 0 to 15. You put it all together. You have a number at the end. And this is where the number came from. And it makes a nice, easy formula for people to understand. If you're doing a 100-point scale, you want to knock it to a 50-point scale, you can cut that number in half. If you want to take it from the 50-point scale, you want to have it like the best out of 5. Then again, you're just moving it over and dropping it down again. So just an easy way to do it is simplified, and people know what you actually mean by the rating.
And like I said, it's good that you do it that way. But even for people who just do it out of 5 or 10 or whatever, I always feel like you should at least have a video or maybe posting a description, kind of what like people should expect out of what it means to you. But at the end of the day, though, it's like I've always said this: ratings only matter to the person who rates it. Honestly, I mean, your 76 out of 100 might be someone else's 96 out of 100. They might like the beer that much. It's like, take it like you should take every other review that's not yours out there with a grain of salt. It's another resource to add to your repertoire of resources. You can have Untapped or Beer Advocate, not Rate Beer because it's a piece of shit site. Reviews on YouTube, whatever. Never base anything off of what other people say. Base it off of what you think about the beer.
Well, you gotta taste the beer yourself to really see if it works for you. People piss all over Budweiser, but yet a lot of people like Budweiser. It's okay if you like Budweiser. Yeah. It is what it is, and if it's a good beer to you, then say it's a good beer to you.
Like, I love Miller Lite.
Yeah,
and that's why we hate you, Eric.
Yeah, we know, Eric. We know.
Oh, that's and don't.
But the thing is, like, Eric likes Miller Lite, and that's great. Eric, I mean, it's like if I'm elsewhere, I'll have a Miller Lite here. Eric doesn't really a big thing. It's, you're looking at the different beers and how you're rating it. You're not going to say, well, this Miller Lite versus the Founders Mosaic. That's not a comparison you're going to make.
Right.
It's a matter of different beers you're experiencing. Although some people have, for whatever reason, I'm sure some people have, like, if this one got a medal for this and this got a medal for that, then they're equal. Like, no, it doesn't work that way. Different categories, different styles, different everything.
What I've never understood in general is just people who get angry at other people for enjoying what they like.
Well, I see people get mad about people chugging beers. I saw a Reddit thing today. Like, have you seen these people on here? It was on the Facebook groups. Have you seen these people chugging? And I forgot what beers it were, but like 2 of the higher price type beers. It's like, so what? It's their beer. They bought it.
Did you pay for it? Yeah. Did you pay for it? No, you didn't. They did.
Disrespectful how they chug that beer. I'm like, I don't think the beer has feelings to feel like it's been disrespected. No. I think the beer itself is pretty much okay.
And I think more often than not, the brewers or the brewery who have that beer, they might be slightly, if they see that, maybe they'll be like, oh, well, I wish that guy would have enjoyed it. Well, maybe he did enjoy Chuck.
Well, maybe he did. He bought the beer. They still got the sale.
Hey, you got your money. Yeah, you got your money, whatever.
It's like these people that are breaking Keurigs. That's not really how a boycott works. Like, you already bought the machine, so why break it now?
Why don't you just take $100 and light it on fire?
Yeah.
You morons.
You got it backwards there. You already bought it. Now you broke it. But so we gotta wait from the beer a little bit there and everything. I didn't even get into the beer in a second.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel it here with these 2 8+%.
Well, we two-fisting.
Well, yeah, I'm almost 9. I'm on my second one. I'm like, man, I might want to stop after this one.
I will say though, Eric, to go back to the Bellwoods and I'm not going to show who cares about the can in the bottle, but as I continue to drink it and they warm up, Treehouse is starting to kind of a little bit better than that Bellwoods. It's starting to come to flavor.
I would like to try Treehouse and Trillium beer. If I get over there and if I have the chance to buy them, I'm going to ask them to say, hey, can you send these to me? I'll give you my address.
Send them to yourself, Eric.
Well, you guys go for a second. I'll be right back. You guys know what you're doing.
You guys go on. I'll catch up with you later.
Yeah, I'll get a beer here. I'll be right back.
We have who else we have out here? We have Tim's Brews says what does he say? He says he likes it too, but I'm not sure what he said. I saw you, Eric, you mentioned it. Miller or Bud. I think he was talking about the rating system that Rod was doing. I think he said he liked that as well. And then we have our buddy Todd who says, "Yo boys, I will join when I get home if you are still on." I'll probably be off in about a half an hour or so, but I know Eric and Rod will probably be around for a bit, so you should at least catch up with some of us. Because I'm not a man, as Eric said. But I identify as a so-called corrupter.
You are not a corrupter, Joe.
Not yet, anyway.
Yeah, not yet. Not yet.
I'll groom you to hate every single person in this world. Just give me time. So why don't you tell the folks about your upcoming trip, where you're going and stuff?
Yeah, I'm going to be going to Boston, Massachusetts, and New York City, New York. So if you guys are out in those areas, go ahead and put it down in the comments here of where I should go, maybe to a brewery or maybe my cousins, because I'm going with my cousins. Where breweries we should go to, whether it's Trillium, Treehouse, any New York breweries that maybe I kind of go to the small town like breweries, like the ones that are up and coming, that kind. If they're already established and well, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll still go to them, but I'm kind of like the little grassroots style of craft beer. So if you guys have any ideas or breweries, go ahead and put it down in the comments here. I'm sure I'll be back to this live stream.
How long are you going to be in New York for?
3 days, I think.
Okay.
And then we fly back on Sunday freaking morning at 6 in the morning back to Detroit.
My suggestion to you, as far as New York City goes, is obviously I mentioned that before, but Other Half Brewing Company, they are in Brooklyn. I don't know if you plan on getting to Brooklyn at a point. If you do,
Brooklyn Brewery.
Yeah, I honestly, Joe, I don't know where we're going to be at.
Well, keep Other Half in your back pocket. They make some awesome beers. You can drink on premise.
What brewery is that again?
Other Half.
Other Half. Okay.
Yep. There is also another brewery in Glendale, which is called Finback. They do good stuff, and then another one in Brooklyn called Threes. I would highly recommend all three of them. But Other Half, you probably have a great time there. I think everyone would enjoy it.
All right. I'm going to try to maybe do some live streams from there if we can. I don't know if I'll do it on my YouTube channel. I might do it on my Facebook page. I don't know if you guys are. I know Rod is. I don't know if you are, Joe.
I'm what, on Facebook? Yeah, I'm on Facebook.
All right.
Maybe people will interrupt you during your live stream like they did me when I was doing it too. Maybe your waitress won't disappear for an hour.
Yeah.
You see, she's on break. Really? For an hour? That's a good bet.
Just give me the sampler. The sampler.
Yeah. There's comments out there.
We had one from Todd that said he'll join when he gets home if we're still on.
All right.
There's also a really good tap room and brew. It's basically Evil Twin. It's called Torst. I'm looking at it right now. Forgot where it actually is.
Evil Twin then? Or are they part of Evil Twin?
Again, it's in Brooklyn. It's owned by the Evil Twin owner, Jeppy. But they have an awesome little place called Torst in Brooklyn that is another place that I've heard a lot of people say it's really, really awesome to go there. They have a dinner lunch menu, but then they have I think it's like 20 beers on tap, and all of them are usually either a combination of Evil Twin stuff with some awesome stuff in addition to it. So that'd be another recommendation.
Is that upstate?
Lakewood,
where Southern Tier is? Yeah.
So where I am, in a northern suburb of Buffalo, is where I'm located.
Right.
It's about $1.45, like directly to my south. It's about, I think, about a half an hour to the east of Erie, Pennsylvania. Kind of like just maybe like the
I know maybe where Erie is. I know
maybe
where
like the northeast of Erie, like northeast of Erie, just a little bit up. There's a big lake there, and that's why and they're to the south.
Lake,
yeah, they're to the south of the lake. Like when I went down there, I've been there a couple times, but every time you go down there from where I am, you're always going through like the backwoods. It's like these little dirt roads, and it's really weird checking it out. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of nowhere, here's this huge ass brewery that's well known.
The backwoods. Have you guys picked up backwoods bastard yet?
Not this year, but
we just had them show up here.
You better buy it. Drink
there's
it.
tons of backwoods.
How much does it cost where you guys are?
$3.50, $3.75 a bottle.
So about
there's tons of backwood bastard up here.
I know here they're doing like the 4-packs. I think for like 13 something.
I think they're $13.99 a 4-pack.
Yeah,
15.
Yeah, they're like a bit between 14 to 16 for a 4-pack, and then a single bottle is anywhere $3 to $4, but not for a 10% bourbon barrel aged wee heavy.
Oh,
I mean, like that's.
You've seen my 10% deals.
I've seen 10% deals, Rod. I've seen them. Seen them multiple times, Rod.
Which I did pick up, I think I said earlier, and if you've ever had this beer, it's actually an awesome beer. I got a case of it a few years back, but it's Golden Corollas Noel, which is a big Belgian beer. And that 22 ounce, or I think it's like a 25 ounce bottle for $3.99 is like a steal. But if you like Belgian ales, it's like seen as one of the, it's in that same book, 1,000 Beers You Must Taste Before You Die, but it's really a great Belgian winter beer. So I picked that up. So I'll probably have that with Thanksgiving next week.
Nice.
With some turkey, some cranberry,
some
mashed potato, or macaroni. I haven't decided yet.
Some mashed taters.
Mashed taters. Biscuits or cornbread. I don't know. We haven't got that far in the menu yet.
I can't decide.
I'm like Will Ferrell, Mom, meatloaf.
Mom, the meatloaf.
Oh, you're going to have some meatloaf? All right, you're going to have meatloaf?
I like some meatloaf. I like cold meatloaf sandwiches.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, meatloaf has its time and its place, and I'm on board.
Old school, classic movie.
Bread, meatloaf,
ketchup.
No,
that wasn't old school. That was Wedding Crashers.
Yeah, that was Wedding Crashers. There's so many from those guys, like in that time frame. It's like they run together for me half the time. But yeah, I just when it comes,
that was nunchuck your ass. You don't even know.
you motorboating son of a bitch.
Yeah. We actually were in my job one year was when Anchorman came out. I think we spent like half the year people dropping quotes from Anchorman all around the office.
You pick a worse movie. I'll tell you that much.
Any other comments out there?
No, Todd is the only. We have 5 people watching though, so that's pretty good.
I was going to go through some other stuff here. I had an interesting comment. Well, not interesting. It was a good comment. One of the guys that watches, his name is Tyler. I think it was on a Facebook page, but we've been going back and forth, and he brought up that I always talk about experiencing your local breweries, and he had not really done it as much, so he started doing it. He's like, it kind of revitalized how he's looking at beer, so I'm glad he found some good success in going to the local breweries and finding out how good the beers are actually there. And again, you're supporting the community, so don't overlook your local breweries out there for sure.
Yes, do not overlook your local breweries. Do
not overlook them, but at the same time, like I said, I like to play the devil's advocate part of this, and it just make sure that when you go there, you thoroughly enjoy it for what it is and not because it's local. First, determine whether or not the beers are good for you, and if they are, then pimp them out. Talk about them, get the word out there, but make sure they're making quality products. And that it goes for anything in life, but when it comes to local breweries, there's a local brewery here, and I won't name their name because I don't have a channel, no one cares. But there's a local brewery here that they don't make the greatest beers, and I don't really talk about them or get their word out there too much, just because in general they don't make really good stuff. So just because they're local, you don't blindly support them. You shouldn't anyway.
Yeah. But I've never, this is something new though, so I never really actually responded to the comments on the live show before. Usually I respond there, but I figured sometimes people put comments on there and maybe other people are interested in the answers and stuff too. So I was looking back at some of the more recent reviews I did. Craig actually had one out there. I just did one on the Mad Tree beer, which is local. They have a Blood Orange IPA. really punches you in the mouth. Real nice bitterness to it. It's called the Blood Orange Psychopathy. He responded to it. He likes that. He likes bold, bitter IPAs. Definitely one to check out. Make sure you check out Craig's channel, Kent Beer Reviews, as well. He does some pretty good stuff from across over in the UK.
Yeah, he does.
But there's also Hillbilly Wine 101, who's just south of me. He's actually down, I believe, in the Louisville area. And at some point, he's going to be up here again. We're going to probably grab some beers or something like that. But he is.
Oh, baby, do reviews, baby.
Yeah, do a collaboration.
Yeah. So we'll get together and do some stuff there. And sooner or later, I'll get Todd up here too, or I'll get down there. I did one on Samuel Adams a while back, I think. And thisdrinkinglife.com. He's another person you can check out. He has some subscribers out there. But he responded, he likes it. It's solid beer, delicious. And I would say the Samuel Adams beer is still pretty solid. It still is a classic type out there. Time to time, I'll enjoy it. Usually I'm at a restaurant or something, but I'll enjoy the Sam Adams classic.
Are you just you're talking about the regular Boston
just the regular
lager.
Sam Adams. I mean, I don't know if you guys ever drink it as much, or if you're out somewhere, you might pick it up.
I drink it every year.
I will.
Yeah, I usually get one. I'm a sucker for either the Winter Classic mix pack or their Fall mix pack. So every year I probably drink somewhere between 2 to 4 Boston lagers, and you could do much worse for a Vienna lager. And it's well made. It's very consistent. It's about as close to a macro beer as you can get in terms of like consistency and quality.
Yeah,
so it was a selling point.
And then we had Chris on the 10th, who I see is now at 60 subscribers. So good job there, Chris. And
not a great job. You're terrible.
He was just giving kudos on one of the reviews. Make sure you check out his channel.
He's pulling away from
he's got some pretty good stuff. He's got a great new camera that he's using, which is awesome. So his videos, I like what he's doing there on some of the videos and stuff and some of the effects. He really did a nice little BC Boys thing a couple days ago. I don't know if you saw that video or not that he had done with the beer, but that was pretty good.
He has a DSLR camera that's quite expensive, and he did some really good stuff with it. And he actually has this program now that he's using. He's able to use his DSLR camera as the webcam, so when he's on these live chats, and it looks so good, like it still has that quality.
So freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's good. I'm like, hook me up with that. He told I forgot what the app was, but like you could use, I believe it is through a DSLR camera. I think you can even use like a camcorder and a couple other things. So if you're looking to bump up your webcam quality without needing to buy other stuff, you can actually just use your own camera. If he remembers what it is, post in the comments or tell Rod about it. We'll mention it next time. But it is, I guess, apparently awesome app or program that he uses.
And I'm thinking about converting my I got the apps to convert my iPhone over to the webcam now too. So I might do that to see how, because the iCam gives better video than what I'm using right now, which is Microsoft HD.
On the back side of this camera?
Yeah, and then the iPhones shoot 4K.
I mean,
mine's a 6 Plus, so I don't know if it does it in 4K.
No, it will shoot 4K on the back side of the camera.
Well,
yeah.
I have my this is the Samsung S8, and it's like, it does 4K too, and it's like this camera in here is like better than my camcorder, and I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, I always do this, and it's 720 on the front.
Well, you can go to full all the way up, and it should do 1080 or whatever. And then
on the front camera
in your settings. That if you use the back camera, because what is that? What plus is that one?
The 6 Plus.
That's what I got. So the back camera shoots 4K. If you do it, so you reverse it and you shoot it from the back. And I've got like a where's my camera right here? I've actually got like a thing on the back, like the OtterBox.
Yeah.
You can actually prop it up, so I can put it. So when I do some of my uploads, I put it down in front of this camera and use that, and it shoots a 4K for me.
Damn it,
so that's why the videos look a little bit different.
I only got like a life. What does this say? Life proof.
Yeah. So I have a cheap.
Not to get all techy with everybody or anything.
So I have a cheap Spagan or whatever it's called, and what you can do is you can just it has a little thing that comes out here if you can see it, and you can put it down any way and use it that way too. Right. I mean, it's funny. You don't even really need a tripod nowadays. Yeah, you don't need any of that stuff. You can just do it like that. And
see, with the back end right now, it's like propped up in front of this, and it sits there just like that. I can put it right in front, look right down at it, not have to worry about anything. So it's a neat little OtterBox that I got when I got this one.
I'll have to get that.
But a lot of people don't realize they can do 4K. And actually, if you look at the best cameras for YouTube, they say that are like the lowest cost and give you the best video. iPhones are at the top of the list.
Well, yeah, any good, like, again, I have the S8 from Samsung, which is better than the iPhone. I'm just kidding. I don't want to have the Android iPhone debate. Whatever you like, it's just like craft beers, whatever you like. But they're in the same vein where the quality, it's at this point, you can do 4K, you can do 1080p, 60 frames per second. And you're already paying for it. Like, you get the camera, either you get it on like a 2-year deal or you pay for it and you pay for it in monthly installments, whatever the case may be. It's already better than probably a $200 or $300 camcorder or camera or whatever you get. So it's like, just use that. I actually have a so I'm gonna start my channel, as I said, and I have a Canon Vixia camcorder that is pretty solid, and I bought an external mic for it, and I've done some test reviews so far, and it sounds really good. But I've also done some test reviews on my Samsung, and it sounds really good too. So it's one of those debates. What am I going to use? But I don't know what I'm going to do right now. I might actually go back and forth between them. Maybe use my Samsung S8 for on the location videos and vlogs and out and about, because it's easier to bring it along, and maybe use my camcorder for home. But like, it's one of those things where if you want to do beer reviews or you want to do YouTube channels, as long as you just have a smartphone, you can do them. End of story. There's no, oh, I don't have a camera. No, you do. If you have a smartphone, you do. You totally have a good camera at this point in time.
Well, what are you using right now with the camera you've got?
I have a just a Logitech HD webcam that I bought 4 or 5 years ago. And then for my mic, I'm using a Zoom H1 that I bought, like I said, about three years ago. Because I plan on doing beer reviews back then, never came to fruition. So I just use that, and it sounds okay, and the quality is HD, so it's like whatever. I mean, it's fine.
Yeah, you're coming in pretty crystal clear.
Yeah.
Well, maybe too clear, probably.
No, you're actually pretty. You're both fine. I mean, it's funny. Knock on fucking all the wood. Is there all the wood? Knock on it. But we've actually had not almost no issues with like echoing or you guys or me going out of focus, or like it's been very limited in the issues we've had tonight. And it's when it comes to Google Hangouts, every night there's a lot of shit going on.
And of course,
right?
lighting plays into
it.
Well, the lighting's huge. Like now I took it to another step because I'm stupid, and I bought a couple. There was a sale on Amazon for like, I think it was like $50. 2 big what do you call soft boxes, right? Light boxes. So I bought 2. I have 2 of them. They come with these big 85 watt, like the bulbs are like this big. Like, it's crazy how big the bulbs are, right? I'm like, when you buy these
bulbs of them all.
Yeah, they were like the size of like 2 bulbs. I'm like, what the hell? Like, what is happening right here? But apparently they're like studio photography bulbs, 85 watt. So I bought 2 of them. I cleaned out a room, and like, it's all cleaned out. So now I just have to set it up and do some testing and stuff. And soon, like I said, I'll start my channel. But it really is all about lighting. Like, there's so many. A guy that I'm friends with, Matt over at Massive Beer Reviews. He has some of the like clearest, like just best.
Yeah, he does.
Videos. He uses his iPhone. I think he used it's I want to say iPhone 6, maybe 6 Plus, like you have. And people are like, well, how is it so close to clear? It's just like lighting. He's like, I have 2 soft boxes over here, and that's it. He's like, it's just the lighting. Like it's crazy. He has and the bulbs. Here's the thing. When you're buying bulbs, like a lot of people, whether it's for your fucking ceiling fan light or whatever, you always want to buy daylight to replicate actual real daylight. So you want 5,000K to 6,500K. It's a softer. It's not soft. It's white, and it replicates daylight like you'd be out and about. Because people don't understand, when you're outside during the day and there's light, like, it's the best you'll ever have, because that's natural daylight, and it's absolutely fantastic. It's the best thing you can have. So you want natural daylight bulbs. So you want to get CFL or LED daylight bulbs, and that's what he's like. I get the daylight bulbs. He bought them at, like, I think it was Home Depot. He had the soft boxes where you can put 4 bulbs in them. They're like $10-12. You get 4 in each. You put them in that. He has like some of the best just looking quality videos, but he's using his iPhone. I think it's the 6 Plus.
Right.
And he has two just soft boxes with daylight bulbs. That's it. Yeah. And his shit's quality. And I'm like, okay.
It's funny how you learn different tricks of the trade as you actually go along.
You don't have to spend a lot of money to have good looking bulbs or good looking videos. You really don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then let's see here. So a new beer reviewer, I think it's one person, but I thought it might have been a couple in his videos. But Boom Tap, that's a new beer reviewer out there. He shot a thing out saying on the last review I did, he liked the bitter flavor, great review, all that stuff. But make sure you check him out. He's a new guy out here doing some stuff. We hooked up on Facebook and some things too, but he's pretty energetic and looking to do some more stuff with the beer. And of course, me and Joe were talking about Raz 124. He's like, you guys don't do live group beer chat anymore? I'm like, we're right here, Raz. Where you at, dog? Where you at? We're right here.
Yeah, where you at, brother?
Where you at? Interesting one from Jason Voorhees. He responded to one that I did a while back on one of the lagers. It was actually the Russian lager that I had. And he said, I too have had my own biases against lagers, but I'm quickly discovering just how excited and diverse they can be. Also makes a nice change up, and said cheers. And that's the thing. Like, a lot of people will cut off categories because of certain things for different styles. And there's so many different things there. Like, we always joking with Eric about the pale lager, but there are the hoppier type lagers they're putting out there now, and they got different things. And when you just cut off a style, don't even give it a shot, you miss out on some things you may end up liking as well.
Yep. That's why here's another thing too, is that if you're not a huge fan of a certain style, keep on giving it a chance. Like, buy it every once in a while. Like, if you're not a sour fan, keep on trying sours here and there. I'm not saying buy a sour like every single time you go to the store, but don't be afraid to try it, because I feel there's a beer for everybody in every style out there. At some point, you're going to come across a beer in a style, and you're going to go, wow, this is actually pretty good, and I like it. You're not always going to love the style, but you might like a beer or two within the style. So don't be afraid to try everything and anything under the sun.
Yeah.
Correct.
And then we had a shout out from this channel is Hooker Gaming. Okay. So I don't know if people think he's playing games with hookers or whatever it may be, but
if he is, where do I sign up? Where do I subscribe? What is this? Hooker Gaming?
Yeah, where do I subscribe at?
So good, positive stuff. He saw the channel. He liked the beer reviews. He wanted me to check out his Budweiser review, but make sure you check him out too. But he does some different stuff on his channel as well. But 871 subscribers. I don't know if people, like I said, maybe he's thinking he's doing some tricks with hookers. I don't know, but
hey, I'm at 40 right now. 40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm at 40.
Oh, you're on the new beer channel.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome. Okay, so you're picking up steam then.
Nice. Yeah, good job. I'm at 49. I have no content, so
yeah.
Don't subscribe to me if you want to watch nothing. I don't understand. At some point, I will have content though, and my channel will change, and there will be a lot of people that
how you critique certain style and all that, Joe.
Oh, it's gonna be terrible. It's good. No, I mean, it's not gonna.
No, I'm terrible. I am terrible.
I'm also going to be terrible. No, I think that's not going to be any. I mean, we're all different, right? Yeah, I mean, I'm going to try to do my best to kind of, fall in the same vein as a lot of you guys when it's just, I'm going to do some hyped reviews, but I'm also going to bring in just normal run of the mill stuff, because I do literally drink everything. Like, I drink, everything. And that's what I'm going to review. And I'm not going to stick to one thing, because that's not who I am. I like trying everything possible.
Spice of life.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to drink everything from Treehouse to whatever Sam Adams stuff. It's going to be fun. I'm going to enjoy it. I will say that I won't do a lot of macro stuff, but I will do some. But I won't do a lot, because the one thing I will say about macro, I have nothing against it, and I do like some macro beers, no doubt. And I have nothing against anyone who drinks them. Whatever, to each their own. It's fantastic in general, but it's one of those things where I know this is going to contradict myself slightly when I said earlier about, like, don't take too much into what people say. But for me, I feel like I shouldn't review Budweiser, because everyone's drank Budweiser. Like, me just putting a review out there is it's going to be higher in views, because everyone's going to, when it comes to the macro beers, people look at the reviews. But I don't feel it's a necessity to review Budweiser, because like 99% of the people have drank Budweiser. Yeah. They already know what they think about it. Like, I don't need to put a review out there for myself. So I'm not gonna say, my first review is gonna be Budweiser. Obviously, no, it's gonna be one of those things where I'm gonna try to review stuff that I enjoy, but I also know other people are gonna enjoy from some aspect, and I will throw some macros. A beer that I'm 100% gonna review macro wise is Genesee Cream Ale. It's probably my favorite macro beer to date.
I never picked it up, and I actually have one store that sells it here. I should check it out at some point, though.
What beer's that?
Genesee Cream Ale.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna go marching back through the macro lagers and the malt liquors and all that sort of stuff on my Eric Alliance fan on my Eric Beer View channel to hopefully get some views up and to get some subscribers back up and all that. But I know I kind of get fixated on subscriber count and all that, but really I shouldn't. I should just do kind of what I like and just leave it at that.
Do it, and yeah, and I would agree with that, Eric. Like I get it. Like I said, if I was smart, and I'm not because I'm Polish and I'm very dumb, but if I was smart,
neither am I, Joe. Neither am I.
But if you were smart, you would really honestly, like Ron's over there, like, what do you mention Polacks for? What is that? Well, is that a racial slur? It's Polacks. No. Listen, if you want to get subscriber counts up, you review macro stuff because everyone's drank it, and even though craft beer is popular, people are very curious of macro reviews. They do.
Speaking of that, I had Miller Lite actually contact me.
Did you? Did Joe freeze up? Joe froze up, I think, there.
Oh.
Yeah. Miller Lite kind of, that's pretty cool.
Yep, he did. But anyway, to kind of get back what I was saying, we'll get to Joe when he comes back on here.
Yeah. Otherwise,
I actually had Miller Lite not really contact me, but put a little, blurb on my Facebook comments, say, hey, thanks for reviewing Miller Lite, blah, blah, blah. And I put on there, I replied back to him and said,
sure.
Hey, you guys are one of my go-to beers. I enjoy your beer, and I'll probably buy it until I die.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
I thought it was pretty cool that a Miller Lite PR person reached out.
Yeah, I think some of these companies actually do notice and they do check out some things. And, I think some people think they may not be watching, but I think some of them do watch and they reach out to you, like you said. So that's awesome. Joe, you're back. You froze up there.
Now he's back.
I think he's back.
Joey, can you hear us?
It's like Joe's in Russia, so he's on delay right now.
Well, it's 10 o'clock. He would say he would get off. So maybe.
Yeah, but his Google is I think, screwing him up too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he might come back.
Like I'll do Budweiser, Coors, Miller products. What is it? Keystone Light, Milwaukee's Best. It really doesn't matter. Land Shark, all those beers. I really got to go marching back through those macro style lagers to get. And I'll admit, and back when I was on my Eric Alliance fan channel, I kind of, I'm sure you've seen it, Rod, where I was, kind of concerned about my subscriber count. I really shouldn't be concerned about that. I should be concerned about kind of like what I'm drinking tonight.
Yeah.
This the Dark Horse beer. I really should be concerned about what I'm drinking more about than the subscriber count, really. So. Yeah,
I think you do it to have the enjoyment you want to get out of it. I think the subscribers will come from that after a certain point. So I would.
But there's times I get frustrated. Like I'm like, man, why am I not pulling in the subscribers like a Real Ale Craft Beer, a Greg's Beer Reviews, or Beer Geek Nation, or even Ron Ontario, those kind of channels.
But there's some thoughts behind some of those too. But I don't know. I just do it to have fun and enjoy it. And if people subscribe, they subscribe. I always tell people, hey, if you haven't subscribed, please do. Right. And if you like the stuff, do you like it? If you don't like it, you can click don't like. But I like to have the engagement. So
even to Darwin, I love Darwin's beer reviews. I actually really enjoy watching his beer reviews a lot.
Yeah, he's been doing.
I wish he would come on and on one of our maybe beer chats and talk about beer with us. I think you would have some.
I haven't reached out to him. We talked in between off of like videos and stuff where I put comments on his and he's replied back on stuff. But he'd be someone good to maybe have on one of the chats or something. And some of these other guys, like I like to get Joe to do something. Joe's got I think a different type of work schedule, but Joe D be great to pop over because he has a lot of fun on his stuff that he does. And I know Bum that usually does Joe's show usually watches here and there as well. And there's just a lot of
out to DJ Brew Reviews.
I haven't actually, but DJ, I mean, we talk and stuff, but I haven't reached out to come on, but that'd be another good person to look at. We haven't had Holly on in a while either, or even Tanya.
Yeah, Holly too would be good, or Tanya.
Everybody's got so many different schedules taking place, it seems now, so that's kind of been a hard thing as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll probably get people back here at some point. And I haven't seen a message from Joe yet, so I'm not sure if he's trying to get back in. Might be resetting his system.
Or hell, even Simon from Real Ale Craft Beer. He could. I don't know if he would be on our schedule or not, but he would be another good one.
Yeah, Simon is. I guess like on a schedule like Craig and them, so they're like 5 or 6 hours ahead of us. I forgot where he's at. He's in Wales, so I'm not sure how far Wales is ahead of us, but he's commenting on some stuff too. He's actually sent me a few likes on a few things, so he would be a nice guy to reach out to. It's just matching up all that stuff as far as the time frame. Collaborating here around the U.S. and collaborating and everything. Yeah. But definitely appreciate all the people that have been signing. I know I saw there's a comment out here from Jai. I said it's like High Life for the beer, so I'm not gonna say High Life, but he responded to one of the ones I had from one of our local breweries, Braxton. It's a really good stout they had done. He really liked it as well. Well hit it, and I agree. Definitely a nice, perfect balance to it. That was actually, I think it was a blown gasket. That one was.
Oh, okay.
But that's a local beer. But then I did like the Russian one, and like Dean had replied to that one. So I did the Russian, the Baltica. I think it was number 8, I believe, or number 9. But he said he's had 5, 6, and 7, but not seen the other one. So it's kind of funny that how these different beers pop up on different levels in different spots. So Dean's actually over there closer to Russia, but he's only had 3 of the different beers, and I've had the one he hasn't had, which is like 2 series later. There's Joe.
Or even, there's a bunch of. Oh, go ahead, Joe.
I just say I lost my connection. I gave Google props earlier. It's not Google's fault, but my actually connection reset. So shout out to Spectrum, aka Time Warner Cable.
Ooh, Spectrum about to get me to do that. No, Spectrum.
That's my only option on here for internet. So
yeah,
that's on me. It's really not on them.
I remember a few years ago, I contacted one of the cable guys I had an issue with, and they're like, "Well, you can look at another provider." I was like, "No, you can't. Do you understand the word monopoly? There are no other." Because this was before DirecTV and Dish were really doing anything. It's like, do you know what monopoly means? It means there's only one in the area. That's only you. There is no other competition. That's the same guy thing here. On the hallway, sit there for like 10, 15 seconds. I guess you're right. I guess it is just us.
That's the same thing here.
So you're screwing me is what you're saying.
In my area, like, if I want to go and get something else in terms of cable and satellite, I can. When it comes to internet, nope. Next time it's Spectrum, and that's it.
We got you.
But I actually have to take off anyway. I was actually going to wrap it up. So,
all right.
Thank you for inviting me, and it was a great time talking with you guys. I'll catch the rest of this tomorrow. So,
all right, Joe.
You guys
take it easy, buddy.
Have a good one, brother.
Thanks for inviting me, and hopefully you guys have a good time. And I just wanted to say one last thing to Craig from Kent Beer Reviews. He said the quality of your beard is outstanding. It is not, and this is going to be gone soon. So enjoy it while you can, Craig.
You get rid of the beard
before you go. Why is it going to be gone?
Just because I don't want it anymore.
That's like Don King getting a haircut. You can't do that.
You can't do that.
It's kind of like that, but it's really not. But it's kind of.
At least keep it until spring, Joe.
Listen, it's winter
It's
time.
a no-shave month.
Yeah, no, not November. It's not be gone November. But sometime next month. I think it's December like 28th or something is a year that I've been growing this. So we'll see. But I think it's gonna be gone. So enjoy it while you can, Craig. I know you love it.
You would have a band on it like Captain Lou Albano.
Yeah, I'll just tie it up and just be like, "Hey guys." I won't start a channel, but I'll manage somebody.
Average Joe was Captain Lou Albano.
Captain Albano Beer Review.
Oh, baby, they have Captain Joe Albano, baby. Yeah, should be a lot of fun. All right, fellas, have a good time.
Man.
All right, Joe, take it easy.
See you guys next week. Have a good one.
Yeah.
All right.
See you later.
So yeah, I'm trying to see any other stuff. I had one of the beers I actually did, and Holly from Holly's Happy Hour that we know.
Yep.
Have you had the Ballast Point Red Velvet yet?
I have not.
Yeah, that was kind of a letdown on that one. So for me, and she said the same thing for her. It just didn't deliver. I mean, she said the best thing about it was the bottle art, which I agree too. It was real nice looking package on it. Kind of gets people, I'll give this one a try. It looks pretty decent. Yeah, can't always go by the label, and that's for sure.
I haven't had many Ballast Point beers either. So
Do you get it? Do you get a good amount in your area?
yeah, I do.
Okay.
I just kind of walk past them as I'm looking at the hundreds of beers at Horrocks here in Lansing.
Yeah. One that I would say that's actually pretty good to check out if you happen to see is the Manta Ray. That one is pretty decent. Yeah.
By Ballast Point?
By Ballast Point.
All right.
I did an outside review. Royal Nass saw the Lagunitas lighter I had. He said, wow, wicked Lagunitas lighter, which was pretty cool. It's a lighter they have with the bottle opener built into it as well. So that's pretty neat. And then he asked about the cigars I smoke. I like smoking cigars here and there. I don't know enough about cigars to really.
I don't either.
It's like I know like the one I had was a Robusto, but I think it was a Quorum. But I like to find out more about cigars. At one time, I did have a humidor, and I tried to get some in, but I just don't know enough to really say, okay, this is a high quality type cigar.
Do you have a cigar shop in where you're at?
Yeah, we have tobacco shops and cigar shops around the area, like downtown where I work in Cincinnati. We have one like 2 blocks from the office. You can get pipe, smoke, tobacco, and you can get cigars there. And all of our like pretty much liquor stores, like Party Source where I go to, they have an indoor humidor where they have cigars. Party Town has one where they have cigars. A lot of them have like you can go in there and get cigars when you get the beer and stuff too, and some nice little setup with them. I mean, you see all different types of cigars, and you're like, well, shit, this one over here is $25 for a cigar. This one's like $5. I mean, what's the difference between the 5 and the 25? And
exactly.
And like my wife had got me a couple years ago that were a couple of the higher price ones. And it's the smoke. I mean, I was sitting there smoking one of the cigars, and I was like, Jesus, is this thing going to go out at any point or what? And it's like some of those higher value cigars, you do get a lot more of a quality smoke out of them. So that's one thing I learned about them. So
a lot more enjoyment out of the higher dollar ones, I guess.
Yeah, some of the higher dollar ones are where they come from. I don't know if they all have to be the higher dollar ones they give you.
Oh, yeah.
But the ones that I had, they were like definitely a higher quality. You were just like sitting there really enjoying it for like an hour on a cigar or something. So, you know, and having a beer with it, and like a nice day when it's nice and cool when you're in the back deck or something. Yeah. Definitely can't beat that. But
actually, you know, Greg always says on Greg's beer reviews, he always with his bourbon barrel aged stouts, he always has a cigar with him to try to pair them, like his Maduro ones. I guess he talks about quite a bit. I don't know if I can get Maduros up here. I haven't even looked. I mean, I like a cigar every once in a while with my beer, but it's got to be few and far between. I mean,
yeah,
I'm not gonna pair a cigar with a beer and be like, oh man, this was great with this cigar or anything like that. But
yeah,
I'm more of I'm more of a
no beer was harmed.
It was empty, thank goodness. But I'm more of the beer more than I am a cigar. So
I mean, I've learned to with some of the beers I have that are like those bourbon beers or the darker beers, what does tend to match up with cigars when I do have them. There's some IPAs I'll have that go well with the cigar as well too, but I just have to. I'd have to have more of a wider variety to say, okay, I know a little bit about this or that about cigars, but I do enjoy having them once in a while. But then again, it's like maybe once I'll have one in every 3 or 4 months or so. Like I don't want to have too many of the cigars. So
I'm about that too. About maybe once a quarter I'll have one.
Yeah. And but Royal Nass had mentioned how he likes some of the flavored ones like espresso and honey that are out there. So I've never had the flavored cigars, but that might be something interesting too. If you have like one of those and maybe you're matching it up with like one of the honey beers or one of the espresso, like dark stouts with an espresso cigar, that'd be kind of an interesting type makeup to try to put together to see what that has to offer.
I'll admit I haven't too many espresso beers, so I guess if I look at something, I'll pick one here, pick one there, pick one there. I'm not gonna actually seek out like a espresso style beer. I'll be like, oh man, that might be pretty good to try. So I'll put it in my little 6-pack and do. You know, that'll last me about 3 weeks because I do Wednesday and Saturday. So that'll last me about 3 weeks until I got to go back to the beer store again.
Right. Yeah, a lot of the espresso are going to get so stout. Although there was one that was the Oscar Blues. They had that hot box they did. They actually did a hot box IPA. which was
really
interesting. So it kind of almost had that little bit of a feel with an IPA type beer, or if you're doing like the Stone Mocha IPA when that's out, that's actually a good cigar beer. That's like an IPA type feel as well.
Okay.
So some interesting beers there. Let's see anything else interesting on here. I appreciate all the support for everybody though. A lot of comments coming in,
and as well as me too. I mean, as well as me. I mean, a lot of you guys used to support me on Eric Lyons fan channel, and I know I kind of put some of the beer reviews over on the Eric's Beer Reviews channel, but I felt like I had to kind of separate the sports content from the beer content because people were like, well, Eric, are you a beer reviewer or are you a sports content, post-game person? And I'm like, I'm kind of a little bit of both. I mean, I don't think people kind of really knew where I was at, so that's why I kind of had to separate the two.
Yeah. It's a matter of I don't know. I think you can kind of do both, but it's kind of like some people like to see kind of a single mind, like what you're going to do with your channel, and kind of know when they can focus in on some of that stuff too. So, I mean, it's all pretty much good in that regard. So there was one like it was funny because I never really go back to revisit beers as much, but I had one from Eric McHugh on here who commented. Asking about the Warp Wing Gamma Bomb IPA, which I had a while back, which I liked, but he was telling me how it seemed like it's changed. And when I got it, it was only available, I think, in the 16-ounce cans. They went to 12-ounce cans, and it's one of those things where maybe they changed the formula. So I had to go back and check that one out. But he said the current flavor isn't as good as what it used to be. So.
Is that a local beer for you?
Yeah, well, it's regional. It's like Dayton, Ohio, they're out of, but we get them down through this area, especially the Cincinnati stores a little bit more than Kentucky stores, but they definitely do have those there. But everybody's been commenting, definitely appreciate it. And please keep adding comments and stuff like that, and I'll keep trying to mention everybody. I haven't talked to Jerry in a while, but Jerry Forth, the beer review guy, check out his channel as well, but he liked one of the videos I did a while back for Mad Tree and their Dreamsicle with the orange and the vanilla that come together. I mean, it actually reminded you of the old popsicle when you were kids drinking it. You got kind of the nice little nostalgic effect of chasing the ice cream truck, I guess. So,
okay.
It's got the nice ice cream type thing. There's one that I like from Sagatuck Brewing, which you've probably seen because I think Sagatuck is out of Missouri. They have one called the Neapolitan Stout, and it's kind of like the Neapolitan ice cream. And you get pretty much a flavor that's reminiscent of that chocolate, that strawberry, and that vanilla at different points as you drink the beer. It's kind of interesting how they put it together. Some people, I think it can be a little bit too sweet. I like it. I think it does nice for itself, but it's definitely more of a dessert type stout. So there's certain beers that are more accustomed to that.
Yeah.
But,
One of our commenters, Lee Russell, says, if Joe shaves his beard, he'll lose the only thing about him that's not average.
Yes, I would agree with that, Lee, for sure.
So, Joe, if you're watching, you made it this far after you kind of went off, don't shave your beard, man, because we all like the beard.
The beard does set Joe apart for sure.
Now, with mine, I'll usually shave it at right around springtime. So I'll have it for the fall and winter, and once the first day of spring comes around, it comes right off.
Yeah, I usually, because of what I work during the day, we don't usually have many people with beards. It's kind of like I shave whenever I have to go to the office. But when I'm not working or if I'm on vacation, I let the beard grow out.
Yeah.
But of course now I get the gray in there too, and it's like I look a lot more older than I actually am too. So my wife was like, "Why don't you shave that thing?" So. But yeah. But there was one that Tim had a comment out there too, and you're talking about Miller or Bud. And Tim had said, I think you asked Miller or Bud or whatever.
Yeah.
And he said he chugs the shit out of both of them, I think.
He might.
Yeah.
I prefer Miller Lite more than I do Budweiser.
Yeah.
Or
even but do you drink Bud Light at all? Or is it just
I think it's a little too bland, personally.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of flavor. I think there's more flavor in Miller Lite than I do with either Coors or Bud. But I mean, my 3 rotational beers are Miller Lite, Coors Light, and then Coors Banquet.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I did a beer festival a couple years ago, and this was like the Taste of Cincinnati, where it's like a bunch of food vendors and restaurants. They do different stuff. You can walk through. And it's usually like a Memorial Day around that time. And we volunteered. So at work, we work with one of the charity groups. So we knew we were getting a beer booth. We got there. They gave us the Budweiser booth. So I was like, Budweiser. But then I'm there with serving. They're like, what can we drink? Like, I'm not a huge Bud thing, but we ended up having like the margaritas that they had there as well. And then you had like the Bud Light Lime. So after a few of them, you're okay. It's kind of like, oh, it's just like drinking beer, at this point. But it was funny because we had to, like, everyone drink the Bud Light Lime, so I started drinking the margarita. Well, we had like the raspberry, we had the orange, we had the other one. So I just started mixing them. And then other people were seeing me mixing, they were mixing. It was like one of our guys was taking orders, and they're like, why do these people keep asking for mixed margarita? Like, he was like, I was telling people to go up and ask for them and everything. You need to keep cracking open different cans because you're supposed to open one can and pour it in. They're like, well, with that one and that one. And it's like, where are you getting this idea from? I'm cracking up behind them, like just mixing them all and telling them all to go order from this guy to do it that way. But it's like anything, you can make fun out of all of them. I mean, they're all just whatever they are. Yeah, you may not have the full taste on some that you make it on others, or it might be little differences, but it is what it is. You just go out there and you enjoy it. If you like it, drink it. So
right, but I personally think that the Bud Light, with the Bud Light Platinum or the margarita style, I think they're preying on people with that Bud Light kind of the how do I want to say this, the image, or not the image, but that label that they put on there. When it says Bud Light, people are like, "Oh, Bud Light, I'm gonna try that," and then they taste it and be like, "Man, what the hell? This isn't anything light or anything like that, like a margarita or any of the Rita lines or anything, or even the Bud Light Platinum. The Bud Light Platinum I've had, even though I liked it, didn't taste anything like a Bud Light product. I think they were using that Bud Light, that image to have people buy the beer.
Yeah, I think they're trying to tap into other people that may not be your traditional beer drinkers. So that is what it is.
They may not think, well, this isn't bad. We're they're drinking a malt liquor or a malt beverage or something like that.
Yeah. But yeah, well, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap it down and everything.
All right.
And of course, you want to give your PSA here. That way, because we do care about the people. We want to make sure everybody has a good time, but they have a safe time.
Exactly. Guys, we appreciate you guys coming on Rod J Beer Ventures live stream. But as always, if you guys had too much to drink, please get a designated driver. You guys should know my spiel by now. If you guys have watched any of my beer reviews, I always go through my PSA. I always talk about you're going to get pulled over by the cops, and you're going to do this stupid-ass sobriety test. They're going to embarrass you, and then you're going to get thrown in the back of a cop car. Then you get thrown in jail, and then get court fees and then possible prison time. And if you're here to kill somebody, you're going to be in the slammer for quite a while. And if you kill yourself, all you've done is put yourself 6 feet under and hurt your family and friends, all right? Sleep off your buzz. Get an Uber, a taxi, a Lyft. Ask somebody at the bar to get you someone to take you back home. Because if your car gets impounded, that's really the only thing you got to worry about. And that's kind of my PSA right there. So sleep off your buzz and get your car the next day, okay? Because it's stupid to do that in this day and age. It's zero tolerance.
Sound advice, in my opinion. So good things to remember for sure. And hopefully everybody here had a good time.
Yes.
Appreciate all the comments, and always feel free to share stuff. And always want to have you guys add anything you want to add to the show. It's all about participation. A little bit different tonight, so hopefully you like the format. And we'll definitely look forward to catching you guys next time. Probably no show next Thursday because it is Thanksgiving. So go out there and get fat and give thanks. And then we'll probably check out you guys the week after. Then we'll be doing the
Sierra Nevada.
Well, some other beer news, some other stuff. We may have some stuff in between then and in a couple of weeks, so we'll see what pops up. That all being said, don't forget to tap the bottle and twist the cap. we're going to go ahead and close it out. Look forward to catching you guys next time. Thanks for swinging by. Cheers, and we'll see you then.
Guys, we hope you enjoy this video, and we hope to see you guys again soon.
And make sure you check out Eric's channel.
Eric the Lions Fan and Eric's Beer Reviews. Go ahead and do a like, subscribe, and also hit that bell if you guys want to see any beer.
Yeah, hit that bell, hit that like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we're out. Peace.